Good morning. How we doing? I have the camera angled because I think Greg is coming in. I'm not hungover, by the way. I had a couple drinks at the Islanders game, but I'm going to take precaution, and I'm gonna have. I almost had a Diet Coke, but I'm gonna have a ginger ale. Yep, little ginger ale. That's a good little hangover cure. And I did go with a little bacon, egg, and cheese this morning. New place. Oh my God. Oh my God. I think I just realized something. Oh my God. Hold on. Wait a minute. I don't know where the bag is. I think this place is called Donation. Donation. Oh no, man. We can't be getting breakfast from places called Donation. Yeah, Greg's wife, she goes cheese fries and Diet Coke. Diet Coke is solid. DC's goated. Yep. On-time streamer. A place name after you. Wow, what a line read. You know, I love when that happens. That's like an old school fucking read the line play. Crazy telling. R.I.P. Carter Hart shutout. You know what was really interesting? Allowed 1 goal. God damn it. Getting close. Getting close. He allowed 1 goal. I thought it was very interesting. When I looked at his save line, Carter Hart saves, I think we're at 24.5. I played an alt like an asshole, 27 for plus money. He had 26. So he went over his save line, but 24.5 for Carter Hart saves is really, really low. So that's when I doubled down. I added this on Action Network. Granted, it was minus 170. I don't give a fuck, though. I'll lay it. Coyotes team total under. Great read. Thank you, Javon. Thank you for coming on. Awesome night in the ice last night. Stars. Sabres under. Sabres. Nice job there. And how about the fucking Toronto Maple Leafs, baby? How about them? Canes are bad. Dude, what does it say? I'm going to the sports work in Tampa tonight. Wish me. What's the sports work, Tony? Extremely hungover. Flew in from Pittsburgh this morning. Cool stadium. Somehow Steelers will still make the playoffs. Oh, I hope not. Oh, that's right. Clam, are you are you Ron Muck's Clam or are you Lance? In my DMs. I joined the stream to hear this motherfucker eating in my ear. Yeah, I'm sorry. Stars. Dude, why are we not playing it? Lance, okay. My VIP Discord. Javon's chatty this morning. Good morning, Javon. My VIP Discord got a Soderblom shutout for yeah, I don't know what's I would love to go to Pittsburgh, go to a game in Pittsburgh. When I drove from New York to Chicago years ago, my wife and I, we went to, what's that music festival in Chicago? Lollapalooza. My ASMR New Morning Listen. Yeah, exactly. I parlay the Leafs, Sabres under, and Stars. W. God, the Stars was a sweat. But anyways, we drove to New York, from New York to Chicago, and we stopped in Pittsburgh for the day just to get Primanti's, which I didn't like. But I thought it was so cool how all the stadiums are like right next to each other. I love that. Nothing gets me fucking more wet than a true sports city. That's why I can't stand New York. New York, you know what they have? They got the fucking they got Madison Square Garden, which is incredible, and then they got their football stadiums in another state. I can't believe it's real. I can't believe it's a real thing. Honestly, it blows my mind. Blows my mind. If aliens come to this planet, I want someone to tell them what New York is doing with their football teams and just see the reaction on their face. All right, I'm done. I'm done. I only wanted half. Woo! Save the rest for later. You know what I mean? All right. Now to the good part, baby. A little ginger ale. Ha! No, I did not. You know what's funny? I want to talk about the Islanders again for a second. Good morning, Vision. DJ attorney at law. Hold on. Let me check my text real quick. So, just an FYI, this is there's a 1045 inspection happening at an apartment right now that I'm trying to sell. So I do have to be on call in case anything goes wrong. I have someone there for me, kind of overseeing everything. I mean, when an inspection happens, you just kind of let the inspector do their thing. You just open the door and stand there. So I'm not really needed. But if something happens and they have to call me, I do have to be on call. So I'm going to be looking at my phone a little bit. I apologize. But in the meantime, what about a little Friday song? Where's fucking Zillion Sigs at, that son of a bitch? Good morning. What's up, Chef T? Morning, Darren. Morning, y'all. Honey, damn. Who plays on Pick It again, please? Oh, my God. Oh. I love a good ginger ale. My goodness, I love a good ginger ale. I don't drink soda that often. I do fuck with a DC every now and then. I do not drink soda that often. If you're going a fountain drink, you know, I used to go Coke Zero. All of a sudden, I don't know what happened. It's really weird. Coke Zero just started tasting really strange to me. I used to like Coke Zero when Coke Zero hit the market. Something changed. That ginger ale looks spectacular. Dude, it's really good. What is going on with the Sharks? DJ, Canada Dry or Seagram's? Oh, you're not going to like it. Oh, no. It's Seagram's. That's a Medicone way. Good fountain Pepsi. Yeah, I like Pepsi. People are like anti Pepsi and pro Coke or vice versa. I like Pepsi. I'm good with both of them. Cherry Coke on a freestyle is the best soft drink, period. Yep. Coke tastes different every year, I swear. I wouldn't argue that. When I was in middle school, I used to fucking freak out if I didn't have my vending machine money. I would always need like $1.50 or 75 cents, whatever the fuck it was. A vanilla Coke would hit my spot so hard. Team Canada. Pepsi better. Yeah, I won't dispute that. Pepsi, if you like one better, that's fine. But like I don't not like one and not like the other. I've done the Pepsi challenge. Actually, that'd be fun. I should do it again. I had a friend that worked at Pepsi. You know what's interesting to me? Not knocking anyone's job or profession, but if you really think about it, isn't it kind of crazy? It's kind of crazy that like a soft drink, like a company like Pepsi, is a corporation and has people like work for them. If you really think about it, you work for Pepsi, you work for a company. You just put carbonated corn syrup, and they have thousands of employees. I think that's kind of crazy. Like my friend, she'll be talking about it. She's like stressed about her job and she's got to go to all these meetings. And I'm like, for a canned drink, all that for a canned drink. I mean, listen, I'm not moving mountains over here. I'm not doing anything fucking that great. Yeah, your friend's a soda rep. It's kind of crazy. It's like, imagine working selling bottles. I know. I guess like the thing is, it's just like a weird kind of strict. Like for me, I would always be like, man, I can't believe this is what I do for a living. This is so crazy. I just sell a little tiny canned drink. That's so crazy to me. It kind of blows my mind. Imagine working. Yeah, no shit. I get beer and tequila reps. Yeah, I kind of do a little bit more because like those serve a purpose, right? You want to be, you want to get drunk. You got to a club. You know what I mean? The whole basis of going to a club and going out and socially is that. But like a canned soda is just kind of like, nah, I'll just have one. Kind of just craving one. I don't know. It's weird. It's interesting to me. They're all made with flammable products. Really? That's interesting. I have a friend who does marketing stuff for Monster. Energy drinks are wild. I used to like energy drinks when I worked at the bar with steak. So this was probably late 2000s. Every night we started, I was crushing a Monster. Every night, crushing a Monster, the blue one. I love the Monsters. I got off of them. I haven't drank energy drink in so long. Have a Red Bull every now and then. Fun fact. Here's another fun fact. You know, the margin wise, Red Bulls, at least in the club when I worked, Red Bulls were like the most profitable product for clubs. Did you guys know that? You probably didn't. First of all, Red Bulls in clubs and bars, again, this is fucking 14, 15 years ago. They were very expensive to begin with, but you know, we would buy a can for like maybe each can was like $1.69, and you would sell it for like $8. I mean, it's a pretty good markup. But where they get you is if you ordered a shot, if you ordered like I don't know if you've ever had like a cherry bomb, like it's 3 olives cherry shaken, and then you top it with Red Bull. That splash of Red Bull, that upcharge was $2. Dude, that's crazy. I mean, we could get like legit like 15 fucking splashes if you really do it. $30 you could get out of a can of Red Bull. That's crazy. But even more so, sometimes my owners own the pizza joint as well. When you see what the markup is on pizza, like how much it costs to make a pizza and how much you could sell it for like $4, $5 a slice, that's kind of crazy too. That shit is liquid gold. Yep. Yeah, Red Bulls are crazy. Red Bull, a Chaser, Monster Straight. Interesting. I do marketing for a concealed carry company. Nice. I don't have a gun. Not that I'm not like anti or anything. But I always, if I lived in the suburbs, and I guess I don't want to get in this conversation because I guess people will probably try to have an argument about it. But I will say, if I live in the suburbs, like I'm not pro or anti gun, doesn't really do anything for me, but I get it, self-defense. If I live in the suburbs, I think I'd have to have a gun. Nose guard, don't need no stick. Need a Draco. What's a Draco? DJ Pew Pew Pew. I paid $62 for a large pizza the other day. No one. Oh, $62? What did you get on it? Did you get fucking filet mignon on a pizza? That's insane to me. W Islanders review real quick. Guys, Islanders games are very fun. Shout out Brian. Shout out Ian. Had a great time. Those guys are great. What's a Drake? I don't know. Draco Malfoy? I know a little Draco Malfoy. Wagyu pizza. Pepper spray guy. No, I've actually never used pepper spray, but I have seen when I worked at a club, I've seen cops out front pepper spray some motherfuckers. That shit don't look fun. I've inhaled it because they spray it and it hits the guy and then like the fumes. I've inhaled it. That shit sucks. Long time no talk. Finally out. What's up? Finally out of what? Out of like prison? No, I'm just kidding. UBS is lit. Dude, lit. It sucks in hell. Oh, yeah. I told you about the Heineken Terrace. You did. 24-inch meat lovers section. Holy shit. From where? From where? By the way, fun conversation between, I got an email. I forgot Jake needs the thing emailed. Oh, yeah. Email coming. Between dude, UPS was great. I'm gonna talk about it in a second. I'm gonna get the link over to Jake real quick to Steak. Sorry, and then Greg said I'll be in. That's why I have the camera angled because he might come in. I'll be in at 11:15. You never know with this guy. You never fucking know with this guy. Let's see. Would I agree with this? MSG, Knicks game, Islanders game, Rangers game, Nets game. Yes. Well said. Knicks game. Awesome. I love basketball in the Garden. Islanders game. You know what, Hovey? I would put a couple. What are these fucking things called? Greater thans between the Islanders and Rangers game. I'm not kidding. I love Madison Square Garden. And I am a Rangers fan. Dude, Islanders games, awesome. First of all, the arena's great. The arena's great. Getting there is fine. It's whatever. You take a train from Penn Station. Figure that out. Get to punctuality, W. Greg. It's so nice. It's a really well done new stadium. I'm getting a phone call. Is this? No, that's not them. Really well done. Also, you know what's so refreshing? You know what is so refreshing is being in a stadium with like real fans. I love that shit. I love it. There's real fans. I'm not kidding. I get to the fucking Islanders game. I literally just sit down. By the way, W, good job, BK. He got the tickets. Those were $95. $95 to sit, what were we, 8 rows up in the corner? You can't even get in the fucking janitor's closet at Madison Square Garden for $95. And listen, I get it. It's New York City. It's Manhattan. It's the Mecca, blah, 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 all that bullshit. But the vibe and the environment for me is so much better when you remove the corporate stiffs and the fucking suits. The same thing, side aisles twice shut. Yes, we saw the aisles shoot twice. It's like Notre Dame Stadium, and I'm a Notre Dame fan, but I hate it. Everybody's just there. They got no personality. They got no charisma. They got no emotion. You get to the Islanders Stadium, everybody's rocking and rolling. I loved it. They were great. I would go back there in a heartbeat for a game. Seriously. Bro, you are a hockey killer last night. Good night. Yep. Good night. I got lucky though. I can't. That Stars game. And then I tried to get cute with the Kraken. I like the Kraken. I thought it'd be an emotional game that the Devils just came off of with the Canucks. Fade the Kraken a little. Fade the Devils a little bit. Went with the Kraken. Nah, probably should have went with the under. Obviously, it's always easy to say in hindsight. All right. Loved UPS, man. I thought the fans were awesome. People were awesome. As soon as I sit down, some fucking Long Island guy, I'm eating my cheesesteak. He's like, hey, can I have a bite? I was, all right, no. All right. But they just talk to you. They talk to you. Everyone's friendly in there. You stand up, you high five the guys in front of you, behind you, to the left, to the right. W shirt to the kid. How about that? W shirt to the kid. That's fucking good vibes. Although I just got a bagel from fucking Streamlink. Donation. That's not good. Oh, god damn it. Oops. Hold on, Steak. Link. Hold on. Okay. I just sent the link to Steak. You should be on here shortly. We're going to preview college football playoffs. Sent. First email didn't have link. Okay. We're going to go through the NFL board. Way to redeem yourself, Boomer Scrooge. The hype at Rangers games kind of depends on matchups and whatnot of the week. Yeah. So I will say this. I've probably been to I've been to playoff games too. It can get fun in the Garden. Don't get me wrong. It can absolutely get fun in the Garden. I've sat in the fucking nosebleeds, literally last row, and I've sat fucking I've had good seats. I've been like in row 5. It's almost better to be in the upper bowl at Madison Square Garden just for the atmosphere. It's almost better. Cavs -2 tonight. We are rolling right now. Yeah. Texas to beat Bama in the Natty +600. Oh, Steak has popped in nice and early. Let's fuck go. Steak, you good?
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I don't know why your camera looks foggy. You don't need
I'm not touching the screen again.
Okay. Don't touch the screen. Your internet's pretty good right now.
We'll take it.
So you were sick?
Yeah, man. There's something going on in Florida. There's just a fucking wild flu going on. I feel like Michael Jordan right now.
No shit. You've been sick for like a week?
Yeah, dude. This is the first day I felt even the slightest bit normal.
Jesus Christ. All right.
I wasn't going to miss it, though. I couldn't miss another Friday stream.
I know. It's been a while. Greg, I told everybody, chill, the Magic are good. I don't know if oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, man, we got guys going down left and right. I don't know if Greg's going to come in or not, but we'll see. He did say I'll be in. You saw that text.
Yeah.
I'll be in at 11:15. But I have a feeling in about 5 minutes he's going to text me and say, send the link. All right. So, Steak, how are you feeling overall for this weekend for the board in the NFL? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Are you like indifferent?
I'm indifferent. I would say I'm leaning toward I don't like it, and I'm hoping for some clarity as we get a little closer. But man, honestly, it looks like a really tough board.
Yeah, I don't know about you. I mean, obviously, we engage and we have conversations about our bets every single week, but like we have different brains and we still have like a different. We still go our own ways and separate ways in a lot of matchups and stuff. I think overall, you've probably been doing a little bit better than me in the NFL. I really can't seem to find like a rhythm. And these past few weeks for me, when I look at the board, it's like nothing is speaking to me. There's a few things that jump out, but since like week 7 or 8, I don't know, the ones that jump out to me have been like the dupings, and then I'm talking myself out of it. So I'm really kind of psyching myself out. And when you get in your own head, that's like the worst thing to do. Really, what you should do as a bettor, if you're just in a funk, is like take a week off and then reset. But I just can't do that. I mean, I've scaled back, only made like 4 or 5 bets here and there. But I think going into this week, I like 3 spots, and I think 3 of them ended up making the newsletter.
Yeah,
I really like your play. Greg's is interesting. He took a last-second pivot, and then we're on the Chargers as well, which feels like a tough pill to swallow, but I'm ready to swallow it. Pause. So, all that said, I think it's actually maybe we should wait for Greg to get here before we talk about the NFL. I just realized that I'm fired up.
I was going to say maybe a little college football playoff.
Let's do that. Yeah, sorry, I was riled up and fired up to get talking about football, but let's do college. So, I first and foremost, what's your take? I know what you're going to say. What's your take on FSU getting left out?
I think it's unfair, and I really genuinely would have thought it was unfair if Alabama got left out. I don't think it's fair to leave out the SEC champion that just beat the back-to-back national champion on a 29-game winning streak. I think that team absolutely deserves to go to the playoff, and I think FSU deserves to go too. But as a fan, I would much rather any day watch Michigan, Alabama. And I understand everyone who says, like, but that's not what it's about. The games have to matter, and I understand that. I really do. But then just ask yourself how awful it would be to watch Michigan play Florida State with Tate Rodemaker or whoever the quarterback is. Like, that's not fair. Like, I don't want to watch that. You shouldn't have to watch Michigan play Iowa in the Big Ten championship either, to be honest. Like, that sucks too. But this is the best playoff. Like, let's be honest. This is the best playoff fans for sure.
I agree with that entirely. I would have, as somebody who has no SEC bias, and I agree, even as a fan, like I wanted to see Alabama play Michigan, but I would have loved for the SEC to have just get stiffed like one time. And in my opinion, there was no better time to do it, only because as good as that win it was against Georgia, my biggest gripe was Alabama did lose at home to an out-of-conference opponent. And the one thing you have to give FSU credit for is they did schedule an out-of-conference SEC opponent in LSU and they always play Florida. So they beat 2 SEC teams. I thought that was – I know it's not the same team, but it's just so many things like of the principle lined up to be like, all right, let's give it to them. But you're right. As a fan, I'm very happy to watch Michigan, Alabama. Also, on that note, I don't like Michigan because I'm a Notre Dame fan. I hate Michigan. But I respect Michigan. I really like Jim Harbaugh. That was one of my happiest days as a Notre Dame fan is when Pete Carroll left USC for the NFL because he was such a good coach. And one of my least happiest days as a Notre Dame fan is when Jim Harbaugh became the coach of Michigan. Now, they haven't really done dick, but they're starting to knock on the door, and that concerns me. But one of the things ultimately that I'm at peace with FSU not getting in because it would have really sucked if Michigan got to just cakewalk and play. Let's just say FSU wasn't very good, right? Right? If assuming
they're not.
Right. But that would have sucked that Michigan got a cakewalk to the national championship. So I'm glad we get to see them get tested. And on that note, look at this motherfucker. Greg, I knew it. I knew it.
11-10, though.
This guy, Greg, you said you were coming in at 11:15. I don't want to get him too fired up. I know he's probably sleep deprived with a new kid. Hold on. I'm going to send it to him. W. Greg. Yeah, they love it. I bet. Hold on, Greg. I don't fucking. I got to reset my my messages now because it's not working. Dad life. Hold on.
I just want to hit one comment. Someone said there's no cakewalk for Michigan. They lost to TCU last year. I don't think everyone's understanding how bad this Florida State team is without Jordan Travis. They're not good. The Florida Gators are horrible. They were losing to them the entire game. And God, if you watch that Louisville game, man, just watch it. Florida State was losing to Michigan by 3 touchdowns. I might be underselling it. They're not good.
But don't you think it's kind of impressive how their defense played against Louisville, or not really?
No. I just thought Jake Plummer or whatever his name is looked horrible. I watched the entire game. I thought he looked awful, man. He looked so bad.
He definitely looked like he was not prepared to be on a conference championship stage. Hold on. All right. So on that note, all right, I got Greg coming in here. On that note, Michigan's playing Alabama. Tell me if you agree or disagree. It kind of feels like, and I think I tweeted about it. Yeah, you agree. Yeah. Nobody's giving Michigan a chance. It feels like. Now, it's funny because I say that, and then people are like, "What are you talking about? I know all my friends are on them." Blah blah blah. Like, yes, I get it. You're going to find people that are on Michigan. You probably know. I'm just saying, from what I saw the reaction on the Twitter comments. Here's Greg. Greg, I am just curious, and I'm not going to give you shit. When you texted, "I'll be in" at 11:15.
It's 11:11 for Christ's sake.
No. What is in?
Why spend Jake the link and then send me the link separate? Why not just send it to both of us?
Because
more work for yourself.
This is hilarious. This is my whole point. I'll be in. What do you think "in" means?
If you're on time, you're late, man. I'm from the Tom Coughlin school.
In the studio.
Oh, I meant in virtually, bro. I can't leave right here right now.
Okay, so the word should have been.
Thing will fucking suffocate.
On. You'll be on at 11:15.
Okay, all right.
I'm just saying, Greg, Steak, you agree?
I plead the fifth.
God damn it, you're such an asshole. Greg,
I mean, you're right. In implies in the studio.
Okay, Greg, but you are on time. New Dad Life. We're talking Michigan, Alabama. So I'm glad you're on because I know you have thoughts too. Jake, at least in your sphere outside of our mutual friends and group and Twitter, do you know anybody that's running to bet Michigan? Because I don't feel like anybody is.
I mean, no, I don't. The second it happened, I got a lot of texts like, "Oh wow, Bama's about to fall into the funniest national championship they've ever had." And I think as soon as everybody saw Alabama was in it, they started talking about Alabama winning it. And I think it's funny that what's the line of this game right now? Michigan favored by like a point still, or is it a pick 'em?
1.5.
1.5 Michigan, right? Do you guys not think it's funny that Michigan's like plus 120 to win the championship, but Alabama's plus 500?
I think it's a little interesting.
Why would that be if they're
Bama's plus 210.
What's that?
Bama's plus 210.
Okay, but weren't they plus 500 when this
dropped?
dropped?
So the weird Bama was plus 500 before they were in. because there was that big discrepancy of
Okay,
like, okay, if they get in, their odds are going to go up. If they stay out, they're obviously out. So you didn't know they were in. That's why there was such a big discrepancy. So I'm looking at them right now. Michigan's 175, Bama's 210,
Okay.
Texas is 260, and Washington's getting no respect at 800.
Yeah. I can't take Washington. I mean, I guess if you want a cute flyer, but I can't take Washington to win both. I could see them upsetting one team, if you want to call it that. I can't see him winning both these games.
I love
Okay.
Coastal already chirping me with being wrong with lines, but I do have him in front of me.
Okay, but wait, in all seriousness, let's not talk about Washington yet. I want to talk about one game at a time here.
Okay.
Michigan, Alabama. As of right now, it feels like the contrarian play is to take Michigan. They were open 2.5. They're down to 1.5. The money's hitting Alabama. I don't know that I'm necessarily excited, as a contrarian bettor to fade Michigan, but let's from what we've seen and watched in college football, I'd imagine, Jake, you've probably watched Bama maybe a bit more than me because you're more tapped in the SEC, being a Florida fan. But I've watched Bama a little bit. I faded him on the season. I don't know if you did as well. I took the under 10.5. And I did so mostly because I didn't trust Tommy Rees being the offensive coordinator. I didn't really know Jalen Milroe. Is he a passer? Is he a runner? I didn't really know that they had an identity. From what I've watched Alabama, because I bet on him a handful of times, late in the season, they really figured some stuff out. They figured the deep ball out. And he has been one of the most exciting players that I've seen, even with Jaden Daniels in that conversation. I would love to bet Jalen Milroe right now to win the Heisman next year. I'm assuming he's coming back. But outside of that, I can't get over the fact that this is an Alabama team that was a fucking what's like an expression, like a donkey's ball sack hair away, something that's really thin, away from losing to Auburn. Why are you shaking your head? As a 14-point favorite.
I have PTSD from that fucking
Oh,
game.
that's right. You had Auburn money line.
I literally get PTSD every time I think about it.
So let me just ask you this. From a football brain perspective, do you actually think that there's a reason to believe Michigan can and is going to beat Alabama?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'll place the bet right now.
You're betting Michigan?
Oh, absolutely. 1,000% taking Michigan.
So do you think Michigan's defense is just going to contain Milroe?
Yes.
Wow.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm not buying that. I don't think Michigan's offense stinks. I really don't at all, actually.
That's what I would be betting on, actually. I would be betting on Michigan's offense because I don't trust Alabama's defense. And I think they're going to control the clock and have time of possession. Greg, do you agree?
I do not agree. I get where Steak's coming from with Michigan, but my SEC bias is too deep to the core to me to fade Bama in this spot. It's too deep. I mean, look at who Michigan's played. Look at if they played a quarterback even remotely close to Milroe, even like in the same stratosphere. Like no one even fucking close to being an athlete. They played guys closer to my athletic caliber than Milroe for their whole schedule. Like it's been a joke. So you're going to give me Saban with this much time to prepare. I do have a ticket on Bama to win it all. I think 7-1. It's public, but I think this is just a public thing that hits. I mean, dude, the Big Ten has done nothing. They've done nothing outside of Ohio State for decades. I refuse to believe that all of a sudden Michigan's going to cakewalk through playing nobody and come in and win. I think Bama's going to be favored by the time this game kicks off.
Wow.
I don't disagree with one thing you said. I think they might be favored. I do think that I could see that happening with all the money that I do expect to be put on Bama. But there's one thing I want to mention because I watched the entire Auburn game, which is embarrassing. Auburn kind of ran where they wanted to. They really did. Like the entire game, they ran where they wanted to. Michigan has two of the best running back tandem in the country.
Yeah.
And yes, over the past couple of weeks, I've seen a couple offensive line injuries, and I understand that. Michigan is stacked. I don't think anyone should get confused about that. Michigan is stacked at every position. They're dominant on defense. And it's not just me being a contrarian saying I like Michigan because people like Alabama. I've watched Alabama over the past couple of weeks, even against Arkansas. And no one's like, oh, they almost lost to Arkansas and they almost lost to Auburn. And then everyone wants to be like, oh, well, they only scored 20 points against Iowa. It's like, who cares? Iowa didn't score. Or they only beat Ohio State by 7. Like, I feel like some of the criticism Michigan gets is because it's Michigan, whereas people are a little more lenient on Alabama because it's Alabama. But I don't think Alabama looked that great at the end of the season. And
no, they didn't. I think if I had to place a bet – sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it.
I was just saying if I had to place a bet today, it would probably be the over.
Oh, so somebody was asking, the total is 45.5. I see on covers. I don't know how accurate that is. I think from a football brain perspective, see, that's the thing. I just like to make sure people are aware as we get more and more like eyes on the stream and stuff. I know people kind of roll their eyes at like, oh God, you're only making a bet based off the line or fading the public. That's why I like to see from both angles. We've adapted and adjusted our ways a lot over the past few years. But typically I would just look at a line and see what everybody's saying and be like, oh, I'm going to take that team. But now I want to back it up with some X's and O's. And I do think that Michigan, as you just said, Auburn was able to run at will. I'm sure with the time to prepare, Alabama is going to say, if I was Alabama, that's what I always like to try to do. Put yourself in the shoes of a coach. How are you going to game plan? If I'm Alabama, I'm going to stop the run and make J.J. McCarthy beat me, because J.J. McCarthy, I like this guy. I think he's pretty good. But remember that game against Penn State?
Yeah.
7 for 8. He threw fucking 8 passes. And I know what Special K and the Michigan fans are going to say. We kept running and forced them to stop it. I totally get that. But if you got a Heisman candidate quarterback, I still think he'd probably throw more than 8 times, in my opinion. And in the Ohio State game, they only beat Ohio State by 6-7. We don't know how good Ohio State is. Sure, fine. I still think they're a pretty complete team. I think that's good enough competition to make me at least believe Michigan is good enough. He was hurt during Penn State. Okay, fine, whatever.
But even if he wasn't, what can you really say? They literally couldn't stop the run. Why would you stop running?
I guess. I just think it's crazy. When have you ever seen a Heisman candidate quarterback against a big rival in a road game throw for less than 10?
For me, I think Michigan's made it pretty obvious at the end of the season that this year wasn't about getting J.J. McCarthy the Heisman. I remember when he got high up in the odds, and even in the Ohio State game, like this year for Michigan is about winning the national championship, and I don't think they give a shit if Blake Corum wins an award or J.J. McCarthy is a Heisman finalist. I think it's just straight up about winning the national championship.
Fair. Yep. Okay. So as of right now, Greg, you've got in pocket, you've got Bama 7-1. But you're just going to double down. If you had to bet this game, you would be taking Bama.
It's 6-1. But yes, if I had to bet this game, I would be taking Bama. I just have such a disdain for Michigan and the Big Ten that I can't take them, and I can't root for them in any capacity.
Fair enough. And Jake, you're going to be on Michigan.
Michigan, nothing changing my mind.
And anything for the total?
No, I'm not. I don't have a great feel on it yet.
Greg?
I lean over. I have a strong
that's right.
over. That would be my favorite play in this game.
Fair enough. I lean Michigan as of right now. I have no thoughts on the total. And I think Michigan is good. I really do think Michigan is good. Next game. This is interesting. Washington and Texas. I tweeted it, and I know a lot of people chirp me. Listen, motherfuckers, you try to guess the spreads and put it out there for the world to see. I bet you're going to be very wrong. I thought Washington was going to be a 2-point favorite. I was shocked. Now, listen, I'm not super shocked that I was wrong in the sense that Texas would be favored. I was shocked to see they were favored by 4.5. And apparently I'm on an island, and that is totally fine. I like Texas. I didn't like them. I don't like Steve Sarkisian. I am here to admit I think Texas, out of these 4 teams, is going to win the championship. I would love to see Michigan, Texas. I think those 2 brands playing each other would be awesome. Not to mention I'm sick of Alabama, but I have Texas in like some stupid parlays to win it all. I think Texas is legitimate, but the only thing is I think what I did was overvalued Washington beating Oregon twice and as a 9.5-point dog on a neutral. And, I don't know, they're undefeated in arguably the best conference in college football. I thought that was insane. So a 1-loss Texas team against a Washington team with all that I said as their credentials on a neutral field, I did not expect to see Texas more than a point or 2, maybe if I was off.
Can I make a counterpoint?
Of course you can.
It's actually short. Oregon was -10. So you think after one game, they're going to make that much of a correction? Like, to me, this is really insulting to Texas. I thought it was going to be higher.
But Oregon's only loss was by a field goal in Washington. Other than that, Oregon was also undefeated. So they're very, very, very impressive.
Other than that, they were also undefeated. That means they weren't undefeated. So I get what you're saying. But Oregon was -10 against Washington on a neutral field. So to make Texas -4 on a neutral field is short to me.
I get what you're saying.
I get what you're saying too. I thought that the fact that Washington not only won, but I mean, let's be honest, they dominated the game. So clearly the power rankings of whatever you expect Washington is had to have adjusted significantly.
A couple points. It's not going to go up 5, 6, 7 points.
If you're saying to me that you rank Oregon here and Texas here and Washington's down here, and Washington is a 9.5-point dog against Oregon, and they just beat the shit out of them for the second time, I thought Washington would go closer to this.
Vegas doesn't move the line that much that quick.
I understand. That's why I'm not Vegas. I can't believe. Would you agree this is disrespectful or no? No, you just said it was short, so you don't think it's disrespectful.
I think it's short. I thought Texas would be a touchdown.
I think that would be so fucking disrespectful if Texas was a touchdown.
But I do too.
Yeah.
But they just made Oregon -9.
Yeah, but then they beat them.
But they beat them. But they beat them.
I actually think 4 is the exact perfect spread.
Fair enough. Okay, so here's my thing. As I said, I like Texas. I think Texas is really good, and I think they're going to win the championship. But I don't want to be that guy that keeps disrespecting the team and counting out the team that continues to be counted out and disrespected and just proving everybody wrong. I don't want to be that guy. And honestly, I kind of like rooting for teams like that. So I think as of right now, I'm going to stay out of it. But if I'm looking at the spread, it tells me Texas. The total, I think it was 66, is down to 64.5. I mean, I think Texas's defense is legit. I don't know that Washington is going to score 35, 40 points, but I'd probably have to lean under. And I can't put money against Washington right now. But at the same time, I don't want to fade Texas. Yeah. So I think I'm going to be on the sideline, which kind of sucks. Not invested for any of the fucking trolls or chirpers in here are going to say, oh, DJ's invested. Not invested. Jake, where are you at with this game?
So I'll say this. I'm just using my football brain. Well, I love Washington. Had him to win the Pac-12. I got Penix to win the Heisman. I'm not going to hit that. But
I've heard this a lot, by the way. I just wanted to mention that. He jump ball Penix.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. Is that weird? I feel like
I don't agree with it either. That's why I'm putting it in.
Crazy. I don't get how Bo Nix throws a million screens a game and gets away with it. Wide receiver screen, and he gets hyped up. And then Michael Penix throws a dime down the field and we call it a jump ball. I honestly don't agree. I actually think the narrative around Michael Penix this year has been kind of crazy. So it was really fun for me to watch him beat Bo Nix for a second time. Obviously, I was invested. I don't know if I like him in this spot, I'll be honest with you. And God, man, if Texas gets to a playoff after all this time and loses to Washington, that would be pretty insane, I think. I do think the spread's just right. You said you like the under. If you like the under, I feel like you got to like Texas, right?
Yeah.
If Washington wins this game, they got to score points. We all agree on that.
It does not correlate because, Washington's defense is really nothing special. But also one thing to note on this game before we go to Greg, I heard somebody talking about how it's going to be played at the Sugar Bowl, which is a big advantage for Texas. Proximity-wise, Washington's like a 5-hour flight. Texas is, I don't know, an hour and a half or something. And I think that the ticket disparity is going to be very lopsided. So they expect it to be like 75-25 Texas fans. Greg, where you at with this game?
I honestly go back and forth. My gut tells me that Washington wins and then gets blown out in the championship, no matter who they play. But my football brain says take Texas. So it's kind of, I'd probably end up going to take Texas, but that's just sort of where I'm at now.
I lean. Yeah, that's a great stat. I lean with your gut, by the way.
You think Washington just pulls off another miracle?
Kind of.
But I there's no way, shape, or form I think Washington's winning at all. So even if they get past this, I think they get massacred in the championship.
It's kind of interesting that the chat keeps mentioning that they played in a bowl game last year. Normally, I wouldn't give a shit about that, but it's the same two quarterbacks, right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
I think so.
I'm just trying to think if one was hurt.
Yeah. If it is, that's interesting. I feel like I want to go watch that game over again.
The silence was crazy. No, they were definitely
longest pause ever.
Well, I know Ewers was at Texas and I know Penix was at Washington, but I'm like,
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Did one of them? I just didn't remember if one of them maybe didn't play because of injury or something.
I think they both played. Pretty sure.
It was Penix versus Ewers. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I don't want to fade. Everybody's writing off Penix, jump ball merchant, this and that. Maybe they're right, I'm not going to be that guy. So out of the 4 playoff games, I like Michigan. If I had to put my money on something, it would be Washington. Not saying they would win, but I think that they're not going to go down without a fight. And give me your let's go around real quick. Give me your playoff or your championship prediction, Steak.
I mean, I think you kind of know Michigan, Texas. Michigan beats Texas.
Okay, Greg.
Bama, Washington. Bama wins by 10.
Okay, fair enough.
Bama, Washington. That'd be wild.
I'm going to say Texas over Michigan 28-21.
None of us like Bama, Texas, but that'd be a crazy game too.
Bama, Texas would be awesome. I really, in a way, again, because of the brands, I want to see Texas in there. And I'm sure the fucking college football committee does too. Let's talk about the biggest game of the year, Army-Navy. I have nothing on that game. I know the trend in the service academies, all they do is continue to go under. I wouldn't fade that. Although, shout out to Steak for that over last night. That was pretty fucking gross. And that cashed in the first half. I can't believe it. Do you have any feel of similar feel for the Army game?
I definitely don't. I wouldn't fuck with that trend. I'd keep taking the under.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's down to like 28 or something. Greg, do you have anything on Army Navy?
27.5, yeah. What?
Gee. Do you have anything on Army Navy?
I might take the under. I'll probably take something tomorrow just to be stupid because it's
Just
only a
feel it.
football game on a Saturday.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about NFL. It's 11:30. I think we're doing great on tempo and pace. If we do finish early, we'll take a look at NBA or college basketball or something. But I want to take our time with this. I don't know. By the way, chat, do you guys want me to pull up the board, or do you like the view of our 3 faces in here better? I'm curious to know, because I have heard some people say they don't care for the shared screen. Very important question. Instead of betting Bills money line any of the next 5 weeks, should we put 2 units on the Bills to make the playoffs at plus 340? I don't hate that. I don't hate that at
Did
all.
you guys see this McDermott thing? This
Yes.
story on him? I want to
Yes.
make sure I'm reading it correctly.
Nope, that doesn't work. Hold on. Sorry, I'm just trying stuff. No.
I like the board for what it's worth.
You do?
Do you? I don't feel great about it.
I've emerged from the NFL lab declaring Chris Godwin Day in a shootout. Wow. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. Yeah, the 9/11 story is kind of crazy. I read it last night. I was a little drunk. I kind of understood it. I need to read that quote again, but he was comparing like rallying together like the terrorists at 9/11. Is that what he was saying?
Basically.
That's
like-
wild.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing was somebody on the team, he was like, so let's think about what those guys went through and what like hurdles they had to overcome. And one guy was like TSA. Like, it was just like, what the fuck are we talking about? Like, this is ridiculous.
He's a weird dude. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Right.
think this story leaked and he's going to get fired at the end of the year. I think that was like intentional.
I
What
think
do you
with this team, if you don't go to the playoffs, you got to get fired, man. After the disappointment
You have
last
to.
year.
You have to. Ginger ale parlay monstrosity. Someone is not happy with him, a head coach, or trying to dig stuff up from prior years to get him fired. Yep.
Yeah.
McDermott is a genius. They won the 2 games after that. Okay, let's get into it. First game on the board. Steaks best bet. I like it. Greg's like it. Greg likes it. We're all in agreement here. I might even want to get cute, and I'll tell you about that in a second. Ravens 7.5 at home. Total dropped 44.5 to 40.5. Although it should be noted, we're no weathermen. We're no meteorologists. I believe there is bad weather from like the Midwest all the way to the East Coast this weekend. So some of it has gotten a little bit better. I was listening to Chernoff's podcast, for example, like Cincinnati. You see that totals moved up 2 points. It's expected to be better than it initially was. But we'll get into it a little bit more as we move along. Ravens are off a bye. Greg can speak on that a little bit more. But Steak, what has you liking the Ravens?
So my gambling brain says that this is a lot of respect for the Ravens with how well the Rams have been playing. 7 feels like 7.5 feels like a lot.
Yeah.
A little bit baitish to take the Rams. And the Ravens dominate against NFC teams. We saw what they did against the Seahawks and the Lions. And I just really have absolutely no reason to believe this won't be more of the same. Like I said, I actually like the Rams. I have their season total over, and I'm very happy with how they're playing.
Mm-hmm.
They actually have better odds now to make the playoffs than the Seahawks do, which I thought was interesting. That's awesome. I don't think this is a game for the Rams. I absolutely do not think this is a game for the Rams to really even be competitive. I think they'll be down 14-20 pretty much the whole game, and you'll get your Matt Stafford, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp yards in garbage time when they're trying to keep it close. But I really do think this is a game where the Ravens win by 14 plus.
Yeah, I was going to say I like the under, and I think it'll be interesting to see how the Ravens come out of the bye week with no Mark Andrews. Because I don't know if I was listening to part of my take, and I heard his stat line with no Andrews. He has not eclipsed over 200 yards passing with Andrews out of the lineup. But it is more familiarity with the weapons. We got an Odell Beckham revenge game potentially. I don't know that I see much scoring, but that was part of the reason I wanted to play. I haven't seen the odds up. They don't have the weekly specials available early anymore, unfortunately. But I think the Rams team total under, or maybe a Rams lowest scoring team might be some pretty heavy odds. I can't imagine a dome team like the Rams and Matt Stafford going from the West Coast all the way to the East Coast and playing in shitty conditions in a place like Baltimore and having much success. So I think the line's telling. I like it. Greg, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, no, the line just looks thick. The one thing I was going to say is stat-wise, Ravens off of a bye when playing an NFC team are 7-0 straight up and 5-2 against the spread. So I think that definitely ticks towards what Steak was saying. I'm kicking myself over not getting a Juju revenge game last night because that one was
He went over his yards, right?
way over. Yeah, he went. His yards were probably like fucking 25 yards, and he had a 30-yard catch on the first possession. Like,
it just makes too much sense. We're just asleep at the wheel. I mean, you at least, thankfully, you tweeted and bet on James Conner at least. Yeah. Special Case pointed out this Keaton Mitchell guy. He is a fucking weapon. Javon also said Ravens going to run for 250. Yeah, I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be ugly for the Rams defense. The Rams defense, I feel like, is just they're playing well. They're overachieving. I mean, Joe Flacco looked pretty good against them last weekend. That score was kind of not as
misleading.
Yeah, a little misleading. I mean, the Browns are kind of
20-20 with like 4 or 5 minutes left. It ended up being 36-20. So
yep. I like
not
that.
tied because the fucking Browns missed an extra point, but
I don't know. See, this is the tough thing. I don't know who I want to declare for a masterclass, but I don't necessarily see it being through the air. It's either Lamar or Gus or Keaton. But that would be a fun prop to maybe do some digging on one guy, all yards.
I think it might just be a Gus meat and potatoes type game.
Yeah, I think they're both going to get theirs. I think Ravens are going to do them like Michigan did Penn State. I think they're going to run it an obnoxious amount of times.
Oh, I like that. Maybe rushing attempts. Can't go wrong with rushing attempts. Okay, I like that.
Another thing I want to bring up, just because Steak mentioned it, the reason the Rams are higher than the Seahawks for playoffs is they have the tiebreaker because they beat them twice.
Yeah.
So even if they both end 9-8, the Rams get in.
So do you guys agree? I saw Jay Free said thoughts on the total. By the way, I see we had about 20 people watching on Twitter. If you want to come in and engage with the chat, feel free to hop in on the Twitch link. The total dropped. It certainly weather related, in my opinion. 44.5 down to 40.5 is the last I saw. I would probably go under. Would you guys agree with the game under?
No lean.
Okay.
If I took it under,
I've been so goddamn terrible at totals. I'm just going to close my eyes on them this week and hopefully reset for week 15. I just can't pick a total to save my life, and I've been doing decent on side, so I'm just going to let totals go away for a little bit. So fucking whatever I say, do the opposite.
Do the opposite. All right, gotcha. Yeah, my totals have sucked ass too. I think I took my best bet was the fucking over in the Steelers game. No good there. Not last night, the last week. Bengals Colts, here's my best bet. And, I really liked it early, and I almost talked myself off of it. And then you guys came in and said you both liked it because I wasn't sure how you felt about it. The Bengals, as of, I believe, yesterday, went from +1 to -2 now on BetMGM. They're still 1.5 at FanDuel, -2. A lot of money on the Bengals. I don't know if it's something about an injury or if it's just because the weather's getting better and they think that means it's an advantage for the Bengals because the total also moved up 2 points. I'm on the Colts. The Colts are my best bet. And something that's really fascinating to me is looking at the Colts on the road. 4-1 on the road. They're actually 5-1 because they played, I don't believe this counts the game in Germany.
Neutral.
Yep, neutral field. Right. Let me just double check that. Let's see. Away. That's 6. Yep. So they're 5. They're 5-1, and they are 5-1 ATS, which is very impressive. They're only. Wait a minute. What's their? Oh, the loss was against the Jags, which of course we had the fucking Colts in their one game road game they didn't cover. I'm ready to declare the Colts road warriors. Player prop lock says Colts are frauds, in my opinion. That's the thing, player prop. I thought the Colts might have been a little fraudish, but I don't think so anymore. And I think that the way they came out after the bye week and how they beat Tampa. Now, granted, Baker Mayfield looked great on the first drive. He got hurt. Things changed a lot in that game. Could have gotten a little lucky. And then last weekend, we faded him with the Titans. And I'll say this. Every single thing that could have gone wrong went wrong for Titans bettors. 2 blocked punts, bunch of horseshit penalties. But
a missed extra point, a missed fucking extra point to send it to OT.
Point. Another game I have PTSD about.
Yeah. Stakes had some really rough beats the past couple weeks. Gambling takes a toll on you. But you know what? After escaping like that in that game in Tennessee, winning on the road against a division opponent, you've got your team at 7-5. You're 8-4 ATS. You can smell playoffs, especially with a banged up Trevor Lawrence.
You can smell division.
Sure. By division, I mean like guaranteed playoffs. But you're right. That's a better way to say it. No. You're right. You can smell division. I love good head coaches, and I'm starting to think Shane Steichen might be that guy. He's up to 6-1 now for Coach of the Year. I think he was in the double digits before last weekend. He's like 4th or 5th now. Call me crazy. I think I'm really buying in on Shane Steichen. Why are you smiling, Greg?
I'm laughing at this parlay guy who's asking me how to charge his vape pen. I was going to say the same thing of turn it off and turn it back on. Maybe poke it with a Q-tip.
So everybody's saying T-Law looks fine. Are we saying T-Law looks fine because he's going to the podium and talking and they're acting like he's going to play? You don't know.
He might play, yeah.
I know, but I'm just saying, we don't know that. You don't know that. Suck my ass. I have to say, I have to ride with the Colts here, man. I like them. I thought it was a lot of respect that they even opened as the favorite. And on the flip side, I think the Bengals really took that game in Jacksonville, even though it wasn't a divisional opponent. But they took that game as, all right, this is our season. We're down our quarterback. We've got Jake Browning. You just lost to the Steelers. You're going on the road, prime time. You got way too much talent. You're not going to pack it in. Your back's against the wall. They fucking played their ass off. They look great. They got a little lucky with an injury, obviously, to actually win the game. But I'm ready for a little bit of a letdown spot after that really, really big win and that insane performance from Jake Browning. 32 of 37, 350 yards. I think Mr. Jake Elway is going to come back down to reality, although the Colts defense is not very good. But give me Gardner Minshew. I think somebody said it, Zach Moss. I think they're going to feed Zach Moss. I don't like the Bengals defense. It's not very good. Again, I know the Colts isn't either. But I'm going to go with what I think is the better head coach and just the more experienced, maybe better backup quarterback. I'm going to go with the Colts on the road. And I got to tell you, I was talking to Mid-Major Matt about this. This could be a nasty under, don't you think, with these two teams? The Bengals are scoring 34, the Colts scoring 31. Colts overs are a wagon. Who would see this under coming? Huh? Steak, what do you think?
So I think some people would see the under coming. I'll just throw that out there. Just Gardner Minshew and Jake Browning doesn't scream over. I know how Jake Browning played last week. I also know in the beginning of the week when you text us your plays, I hated the Colts. I just didn't think anybody would be loving Jake Browning just because he had one big game. And then I got on Twitter and everybody really loves Jake Browning just because he had one big game. That's honestly what it seems like. And I find that really interesting. I think this game literally comes down to, can Jake Browning do that again? Because if we're getting the Jake Browning we thought we were getting going into Monday night, I think it's insane that the Bengals are favorites, to be honest. The Colts have looked good all around. The Colts have looked really solid. I know, obviously, you could say they got lucky to get the 2 block punts against the Titans, but overall, the Colts have been pretty solid all year, even in some of their losses. The loss to the Browns was heartbreaking. Like, Colts could be 8-4. You know, that's crazy to think about. I don't know if I'm prepared to buy that Monday night Jake Browning is the real Jake Browning. So I'm comfortable with the unit on the Colts to find out.
I think that's well said. Greg?
Yeah, no, same thing as you guys. I think the Colts are everybody's writing them up as a little bit of fraud, which I did the same thing a week or two ago, but they keep coming through. They keep scrapping. They keep fighting. I think Steichen's going to win Coach of the Year. I mean, it's really impressive, dude. The AFC. How do you pronounce it?
I'm not like a fucking. You're in the German military. Steichenheisen. I think it's Steichen.
Steichen. I said Steichen.
Dan Campbell's got to win it, right?
No.
Huh?
No.
No.
It's done. That's over.
No, it's not over. I'm just saying. I don't think Dan Campbell's going to win it. I think Campbell's going to start to fall off.
If you think fucking Steichen, I'm not going to do a Nazi thing, but if you think Steichen is going to – like if he gets the Colts in the AFC in the playoffs with a backup quarterback, I mean, outside of fucking the Vikings guy, like who else has a better sort of thing to go back on than that? Also, I took LaFleur. He might not be dead. He was dead. He might not be dead.
He might not be dead. He might not be dead, but you're forgetting about D'Amico Ryans.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I'm kind of actually repressing that because I was between LaFleur and D'Amico Ryans, so I'm not even going to talk about that. But anyway, I do think the Colts are actually for real. I think Browning's getting way too much love for looking good on Monday night, and it's probably a little bit of back to reality. I still don't think it's a blow up by any means, but I'm comfortable taking the Colts here.
Do you guys feel? You know what? I heard someone say this, and it's not a spot that I really want to be putting my money in, but I like that they're being doubted because it's really hard to do. And I'm accepting that the Colts are just going to be like sometimes you have to accept certain teams are just the Orioles are the Orioles. Like they're just going to fucking defy the line. It doesn't matter. They're going to win, whatever. The Colts. This would be the third time this season they won back-to-back road games. That's really hard to do.
Damn.
Really fucking hard to do.
That's crazy.
So I don't know, man. I think they do it. And you're right. I think it more so comes down to I think we're not going to get the Jake Browning we got on Monday night. And I think the Bengals are going to shoot themselves in the foot and make more mistakes. And I think it's kind of like in tennis. Nobody's having a kill shot, but it's the unforced error. That's what it is. That's what I should have written in the newsletter. It's
Tennis sharp.
The Bengals are going to make unforced errors. That's what I think. Okay, let's keep going back to the board. I am intrigued as a Bucs fan about this game. And I got to tell you, I have only throughout this season, when have we played 12 games? I've only been excited about one game. And I went to the bar and I watched the Lions play the Bucs. And that was a miserable experience. I think the Bucs can win this game. I don't even know. The line might be kind of weird. I think the total is weird. I got a strange feeling that the Falcons are in for some trouble. I think the Bucs are going to bring it to them. I'll tell you a little bit more about why, but let's switch up the rotation, switch up the blunt rotation. Greg, I know you are very anti-Baker and anti-Bucs for all the right reasons because I'm not a big Baker guy either. Do you want to pop my, what's that expression? Shit on my parade? Pop my balloon.
Rain on your parade.
Rain on my parade. Yeah.
In your mouth.
That too. Do you want to tell me that the Bucs are not going to win this game in Atlanta? Total 39 up to 40.5.
I mean, I think this line's right. I think this is a really tough spot or just a tough game to pick. Just because it's tough to have a ton of inspired confidence on either side. If you're going to take the Falcons, take a money line because you've seen how that plays out. I do think the Falcons have started to get their footing underneath themselves. Like they started out the year okay. They went through a bit of a rut. They had their bye, and now they're starting to kind of string together some wins a game. So I'm apprehensive to fade them there. I mean, the Bucs linebacker core is still it's healthier than last week, but they're still missing some key guys, is my understanding.
I think Levante David might be back.
Okay. Yeah, I like Javon saying the over. My only pause on that is these divisional games when they're playing for the second time. Going against that under is a really tough move, but like I said, fucking don't listen to a word I say about totals because they've been ice cold. The Falcons' best corner is out too, so I mean, I think you got to see Mike Evans just continuing to do what he does. Tough game for me to pick. I have the Bucs season total under. I have the Falcons season total over, so that's why I'm kind of taking a step back to see what happens.
Okay,
and
fair enough
for the Falcons, but I would not be
way,
betting the Falcons at 2.5.
Shout out Twizzy for the sub bank. Shout out Cubbies for the sub bank. Shout out Budman for the sub bank and Tibernack new follow. All right, Steak, are you with me on the Bucks ship this weekend?
So I'm not with you on the Bucks at all.
Fuck.
I probably do lean Bucks, but I didn't get my chance to pitch it before the chat went off on it. I love the over. I love the
You
over.
do?
I don't know why it's 40.5, and I don't know why it's moving up. Who thinks that Desmond and Ritter and Baker Mayfield's going to be a shootout? Nobody. This is my gross over. Take your two quarterbacks that probably shouldn't score points, and I think they're going to score a lot of points. While I say that, who do I picture scoring more points? I'd say Baker Mayfield and the Bucks. But my favorite bet of this game is the over, and it's definitely a play for me.
Okay. I might can we go back to, remember when we collabed on our Bucks team total over in Houston, and it was the highest scoring game, and I bet that too?
Don't have to ask me twice.
All right. Somebody said it in chat. Let's fucking run it back. Bucks, Falcons, highest scoring game. Look at Greg's got that look on his face.
Mike Evans touchdown. That's all I want to say. Like,
Okay.
he just keeps having a great day.
That is certainly the don't overthink it play. Mike Evans just keeps eating. I saw Javon mention Chris Godwin. I saw that there was something on my notifications for Bucks stuff on Bleacher Report that like Chris Godwin is downplaying beef with coach or something. I don't know what happened there, but maybe
I thought
maybe,
Godwin was a little banged up, but
I thought he was
off on that.
He always
had like
is.
a neck thing or something.
Yeah, he's had a bad run of injuries. I tried to play Trey Palmer in Indianapolis, and I wasn't watching the game, but Camus Money told me he dropped a big pass. I like Trey Palmer, but I'm not going to go back to him or get cute. Pickett is telling me 82% on the over. Wow, if it's that, if the splits, I got the splits up. Let's just take a look, although we really don't factor these in too much anymore. Oh, my gosh, this is a little concerning, though, if accurate. 59% of the bets, 91% of the money is on the over. That's very sharp if that's the case. But you know what? Somebody said it. Greg, you said it. The Falcons' top cornerback could be out. Maybe that's why.
I think that's why you saw it move up a little bit. I think I don't even
Right.
think it's like a question of him being out. I think it's a concussion.
Godwin's wife is a W, by the way. When I was on Instagram, I followed her, and she is fucking awesome.
Creepy.
Why?
I don't know.
She's
Why
really
are you
cool.
calling Godwin's wife?
Well, because I follow Chris Godwin, and it tagged him, and she was making like healthy snacks and stuff, and I was like, oh, she like makes really nutritious. No,
Yeah,
what are you
you're a
talking?
huge healthy snack guy.
Oh.
Totally makes sense. Totally.
I got a healthy snack recipe from Godwin's wife, and I gave it to my wife, and she made them, and they were delicious. They're like these chocolate peanut butter fucking oat balls or something that you bake in the oven. I love Chris Godwin. He was my favorite player.
Totally healthy.
Fun fact, after COVID, I bought a Chris Godwin gray Bucks jersey. Do you remember this, Greg?
You never got it. You bought
Never
it.
got
You
it.
never right?
I
Yeah.
wanted it because we were going to have our fantasy football draft. I don't know if it was in Tampa or something. And I ordered in April. It was supposed to come in like June or July. It got delayed to November. And then they just said, we can't process your order. NFLshop.com. Go fuck yourself. Healthy snack for DGen. Anything with peanut butter. I love peanut butter. Okay. So we're like the over. I like the Bucks. I got to tell you, I like the Bucks. Fuck the Falcons. Sorry, Greg. Sorry for your future. Okay. This is the Greg's cold feet play of the day. We had the Bears ready to go. Greg's best bet, and he pulled out last minute. And I don't know if we're going to regret it or not. I am okay with it. Steak, I don't really know how you feel, but we'll get to you in a second. Lions are, if this is accurate, -3, total 43.5. Big weather game. I saw some people were asking in the Discord. I think Ref and a couple other people DM'd me, said, look at this total. It looks really low. They score a lot of points. What do you think? I've heard is it's going to be a terrible weather game, so it makes a lot of sense to me if that's the case. So I don't think I'm going to get involved, but I am okay sitting this one out and not fading the Lions. Steak, do you agree?
Yeah, I think this is actually the one contrarian play where when you first look at the board, you say like the Lions are only -3 against the Bears. Like even the last game where they were -7.5 and then they came back and won. Like even that they covered 3, I believe. And I understand that one was in Detroit and this one is in Chicago. But I think that if you're like one of those guys who just newly adopted betting contrarian, that's the first game on the board you see. Yeah, but haven't the Lions kind of been somewhat banged up all year? I feel like
I know the defender Anzalone, I think Kev is supposed to be out, but yeah, you're right. There's always been some kind of injuries with the Lions.
I feel like Amon-Ra is always on the injury report.
No
Monty
Ragnow,
Pinto.
no McNeil, no Anzalone. Okay, fair enough. I don't know who McNeil is. Jeff McNeil, batter for the Mets, like that guy. But what did you say this? People are forgetting the Bears almost beat the Lions.
Mhm.
The Bears beat the Vikings. Granted, it
Mhm.
was disgusting.
Yeah.
Justin Fields is back. They know the Lions are terrible with mobile quarterbacks, and it's back-to-back road games. I just don't know that I think I don't think the line is as fishy as we think it is. So I agree with everything with what you're saying. Are you going to play anything in this game?
Not right now. It's just too
Okay.
tough. I think that the Bears +3 is contrarian's fool's gold, in my opinion.
Fair enough. Greg, is that kind of what conclusion you came to as well?
Yeah. So what led me to it is originally the weather was supposed to be really bad,
Mhm.
but the weather is not. It's still going to be cold. It's probably like this was supposed to be a pretty bad snow game / rain. It's not sounding like that's the case anymore. And that was sort of the first thing that gave me pause. Was like, all right, Bears gonna be my best bet. Let's see what the weather actually looks like. Sunday, it's just like going to be in the 30s and a little bit of wind, nothing crazy. So it's like, all right, wrong on that. That obviously changed. The other thing was we've been tracking this trend a little bit on teams off a bye and teams going into their bye being really hot, coming out cold, teams being cold, coming in. It's that kind of reversal of that week, just either get right or throw off your mojo. The Bears going into this are 2-1. They're 2-0-1 against the spread, right? Because they pushed against the Panthers. And then they covered that Bears game, covered that Lions game, and then beat the Vikings. And now they get the bye. So, I mean, 2-1 if you're the Bears, that's like as hot as they've been since fucking Trubisky took them to the playoffs. Like, that's pretty good. So that I mean, I know it's depressing for Bears fans, but like it is. They've looked really good. So I think this bye is sort of coming at a bad time for them. And also, I do think the Bears just played them close in Detroit, almost beat them. There's that narrative of Goff being really bad on the road. And I think if this was a weather game, I'd be looking to fade it. But I do still think Fields has a good day. I think he's played 4 games against the Lions in his career, and he's rushed for 100 yards in damn near every one of them. So they certainly have a trouble stopping a guy like him. But I mean, again, we've faded the Lions a few weeks in a row. I don't think the Lions are a team you're going to get rich on continually fading. I'd rather take the couple units. We got them on the Bears a couple weeks ago. We got them on the Packers on Thanksgiving. Like, we laid off them on that Saints game, which was a really good layoff because that one was pretty tempting to take the Saints. So I'm kind of good taking a step away from fading the Lions here this week.
I'm good with that. Yep. Okay.
Someone said it in the chat, David Montgomery revenge game going back to Chicago.
Oh, for sure. For sure. That is something I'll be on.
2 touchdowns? I could just see him slashing them.
100 yards, 2 touchdowns. Yeah. I mean, Campbell's the kind of guy that's going to play into that too. You know what I mean? It's between him and Gibbs, and like he's going to, whatever, if it's a 50-50, he's going to shade Montgomery a bit more just because it means that much more to him.
Sure. Okay. Next game, we've got I don't really have anything in this one, so we can skip it. If you guys have anything, feel free. The Saints at home against the Panthers, 6 down to 5.5. Panthers finally came through. We had them fired coach system last weekend. I don't want to go back to them. I kind of want to take my unit and run. Steak, I see you shaking your head. No, got nothing on this game. Greg, do you have something? Your boy Jameis is playing.
It would be a thing of legends if we took the Panthers twice this year and won the only 2 games that they covered, and the Texans and the Bucs. That would just be. I'm very happy to tell that story at the end of this year. Little bit of me wants to fade the Saints, but I just got no dog in this fight here.
Okay.
I'll say this one thing. I did watch the Lions Saints, and over 10 times I said to myself, how can the Saints be this bad? I don't get how they can be so bad. It's crazy, but I don't know that I have the guts to take Panthers back-to-back weeks.
Dennis Allen is not a good coach.
No, he's not.
And he's not.
Probably one of the first things I would point to. And honestly, that's what it came down to when I decided not to bet the Saints. Do you guys remember that was my first thing I texted you in the offseason? I was like, I love the Saints this year.
You were obsessed with them, yeah.
I love them.
I like them too.
Yeah. Okay, Jags and Browns. You know, I'm not going to do it because I am a Browns shareholder. Bought it at the worst time. I literally bought Kmart. Or no, I bought Radio. What was that?
Radio Shack?
Radio Shack. I bought Blockbuster right when Netflix came out. What, Greg? You have something to say?
You're just using really bad analogies. But
Sorry. Well, Blockbuster's good.
Think about the fucking group here. You think the group here knows what Circuit City is, you asshole?
Oh, yeah, Circuit City. Oh, I guess you're right. Yeah, they don't know shit. Anyways, I want to double down and bet the Browns in this game. But with potentially no Trevor Lawrence, well, now everybody apparently in the chat lives inside the fucking Jags locker room, and they know that Trevor Lawrence is walking around fine and he's going to play. All of a sudden, kudos to these guys. Total 32.5. The weather's going to suck. Even if Lawrence plays, I feel like this is a spot I kind of want to fade the Jags. And do you guys realize how good Jacksonville has been? ATS in winning.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, with the exception of last week, they've been pretty ridiculous.
well, that's what I'm saying. If you always look at these teams, I mean, they kind of go up and they go down, they go up, they go down. The Jags have been up for a little too long, in my opinion. And I kind of feel like there's more than just 1 week of not even regression, because they were fine for the most part offensively. Granted, their defense let fucking Jake Browning carve them up, but weren't they at one point in that game up by a touchdown late? You know, and I think they had the ball and there was like a really bad no call or something on Calvin Ridley. Like the Jags, for me, just in Cleveland, I know they own Pittsburgh, but I don't think they own Cleveland. This would be a fade spot for me. Joe Flacco looked fine. I'm not necessarily getting hyped about Joe Flacco. I just sort of wouldn't mind fading the Jags. Would you talk me off of that? Let's switch up the rotation. Greg, would you talk me off of fading the Jags in Cleveland?
Dude, no, not at all. I mean, this is going to be like this is going to be the gross weather game on Sunday. Like, it's going to be in the 40s in Cleveland, gray, rainy. Like, this is where the Browns really thrive and what they're built to do. Yeah, they're getting their top cornerback. I wish we caught that against the Rams because he was out, and that's why fucking Puka Nacua went nuts. Shame on me, shame on us. But I do like the Browns here in this spot. If it just feels like this is their spot to thrive. Also, how the fuck did the Jets not go get Flacco?
How did they not go get anyone, dude? How did they not go get anyone?
Simeon. Like, how did they not go get Flacco? Flacco looked fine. Like, he made some dumb mistakes, whatever. But like, how did the Steelers not go? I mean, I guess Pickett's already out, but like fucking Trubisky's out there. How are some of these guys backup quarterbacks when there's guys head and shoulders above? Actually, I saw it last night. It would have been pretty cool, but Ben was at the game as a fan. They could have brought him down at the half, suited him.
All right. We got other games to talk about. We're not talking about fucking Ben Roethlisberger being in the stands at the Steelers game, losing to the Patriots. All right, Steak, are you talking me off fading the Jags?
No, I'm not. I'm not taking a side, though. I don't care about the weather. I don't think there's going to be much points scored in this game, at all. And I don't think the Jags are going to score many at all. So my favorite bet is something around the under or the Jags team total under. So maybe I'll join you in fading the Jags, but that's how I do it. I think if you play Trevor Lawrence this week in Cleveland in bad weather, you're insane. They have enough of a, I think, comfortable lead. I know it's only one game, but they're ahead of the division. Like, this isn't you don't play Trevor Lawrence in this game.
Well, I think they beat the Colts twice too. So really they're up one game, but technically they're up two because you got that tiebreaker.
But Texans are 7-5 too, right? Or no?
Yeah, you're right.
They are.
So it's tight, but they're in the lead. I'm pretty sure I checked, and there's something insane to win the division, like minus 2,000 or whatever. Don't play Trevor Lawrence in bad weather in Cleveland. That sounds insane. And when they don't play Trevor Lawrence, same kind of thing. Because who's the backup? CJ Beathard?
Yeah,
he looked decent.
He's hurt too, though.
Oh God,
they might go to this rookie guy who looked really good in the preseason.
Oh, Nathan Rourke.
Rourke, yeah.
Not any. I
mean, if they do go to that guy, because look how preseason quarterbacks who thrived in the preseason, look how they did in their first start, right? You had that Aiden O'Connell guy, you had DTR, you had Kenny Pickett, for Christ's sakes. If they go to this Rourke guy, I think people might get cute because of his preseason, and I'll hammer the Browns.
Yeah, I'm good with that, but I really don't think the Jags are scoring much, no matter who plays quarterback. That's honestly how I feel.
Yeah, mid-major said Jags team lowest scoring team. When I said Rams lowest scoring team, I think I would bet both of them, honestly, just for a small sprinkle, depending on the odds. All right, Rourke is a Canadian. That's my guy. I love that. Canadians flock together. Jets and Texans. Jets were 6. They're down to 3.5 now that Zach Wilson is fucking back, baby. You got to be fired up if you're in the metropolitan area. I can hear the roars from Jersey over here in Brooklyn. Big move on the line. I don't know. That seems like a lot of respect. But I got to tell you, not that I want to bet the Jets necessarily, but let's be honest. I don't want to keep fading CJ Stroud. Shitty weather in New Jersey. Tank Dell.
Could be a stinker.
could be a stinker for our boy CJ and in the Texans offense. 37.5 down to 33.5. I don't mind getting the home dog with points here if it's going to be tight. Not saying the Jets are going to win, but if there was a time, I don't know, the defense may have just given up and quit. We'll see. Hold on. Cool and Flu keeps sharing this nugget. Jets left for dead. Every week it's rock bottom. Every week Stroud just continues to just truck on. He is him. Sharps burned all year whenever they fade Stroud or play the Jets. This is the spot. Perfect storm. Texans look like free money giveaway of the year. All right, add the Jets to my card.
You have to have giant stones to take the Jets this week. It's just a fucking disgusting play. I mean,
Do you have giant? Typically, you have giant stones.
Yeah, it's just God. I mean, bro, we've been burned so much on the Jets, so much. I don't know if I could take anymore.
You took them last week, didn't you?
Yes. Yes.
We said not to do that. Greg, are you anything in this game?
If I take anything, I might take the Texans adjusted. And I know that's public, but I do think
Wait. Like adjusted spread?
Yeah, like Texans minus 10.5, Texans minus 14. Because I do think at some point the defense just has to say, fuck this.
That's
the
fine.
The season's officially over now. The Aaron Rodgers officially is not coming back. At some point they have to say, fuck this. I'm probably not going to play this.
Is that official?
Aaron
Why
Rodgers?
would he? Why would he?
No. I know, but I think it's hilarious, and I don't want people to lose money, and I'm not celebrating people losing money. But I thought it was hilarious, people's like pitches on Aaron Rodgers to win comeback player of the year.
Well, so there was a point of time, and I think he athletically, physically could, but at this point, even if he came back, they can't make the playoffs. Like it is
No, they can't.
like losing 5 in a row. It just like went from like maybe he comes back and we can put it together for the rest of the season, finish 10-7. But now it's just like it'd be so stupid to have him go out there, get hurt, to go 8-9, right? Like, so I do think that the Jets eventually are going to have just a big blowout game. I'm probably not going to take it, but if I had to take something here, that would be my play.
Okay. The Kenny guy on Surgical Stream. And that guy's a nice guy, the Kenny guy. I forget his name. He went on Surgical Stream. I saw other people posting videos on Twitter, so I wasn't even just directly calling anybody out. But do you guys, we haven't really talked about this, got more tapped into the gambling Twitter thing than you are. And I saw it probably 10 times. Don't you think it's a little funny that there was a video of Aaron Rodgers walking and people were like making videos about betting Aaron Rodgers to be comeback player of the year? Did you find that a little funny?
Yes.
Okay. I thought it was a little funny.
Yeah.
Because it's like anybody with a brain can see him walking, maybe coming back from a surgery, and then look at the pool of competition and comeback player of the year. Baker Mayfield, John Mechie, DeMar Hamlin. Just not groundbreaking. Anyways, Jets defense. Greg, here's what I'll say. That to me is probably a square, don't overthink it alt line that I could co-sign. But if it wasn't for me thinking this might be a really bad spot for CJ Stroud.
I totally hear you. I would never play the Texans +3, I guess is my point, because that seems like bait.
Texans -3?
-3. I'd rather just play them inflated for half.
I get what you're saying, Greg.
Yeah.
It kind of makes sense, actually. If you're going to play them, if you're going to play the Texans to win, you got to assume they're going to beat their ass.
Yep, I like that. It's kind of what I said about the Niners against the Eagles. If the Niners are going to win, they're going to make it nasty. All right, let's keep moving.
You talked me off of that Niners exact 1-6.
Oh, yeah. I took the alt line 13.5 at +320 in game. Okay. Speaking of the Niners, Greg, this is your best bet. By the way, are you guys all good on time? 12:07?
Yeah, I'll probably good at 12:30.
That's exactly when we're going to end anyway. All right, perfect.
Baby.
That's right. Your baby doing okay?
Great.
Okay, cool. Greg, Niners. Seahawks. The Niners are 12.5 down to 10.5, 45.5 up to 46.5, if that's accurate. You kind of caught me off guard here. I didn't know you were going to go in the newsletter your best bet Seahawks first half. And at first, Steg, I don't know how you feel about it. We'll get your thoughts. At first, I was like, ooh, I don't know if I like this because I like having the option for the back door. I like having the double-digit points, especially after the Seahawks just covered a double-digit spread on the road. But then I started to think of your reasoning and my reasoning as well as to the Niners coming back home, traveling east to west, off of that big game against the Eagles, which really was
Massive
like
game. Yeah,
massive
they had that one
football
circled
game.
all year.
Circled all year, which you're going to talk about. I don't want to take away too much from you, but the last thing I'll say is the extra rest for the Seahawks could be something that they take advantage of early in the game as opposed to late.
Yeah, I had 3 points. You said you didn't want to take it away, but you took 2 of them. So anyway, Niners coming back off of a huge win that they had circled on their calendar. You get the Seahawks who played on Thursday, so they get some extra time to prepare. This is also like a line in the sand type game for the Seahawks, where they started the year 6-3. Then they lost to the Rams on a missed field goal. They lost to the Cowboys. They lost to the 49ers. So they really went from being like in control, maybe even get cute and could win the division, to now we're kind of fighting for our lives just to make the wild card. They also have the Eagles on deck. Like they just had a brutal stretch of 4 games here. And I do think that Pete Carroll is the type of coach who is going to have them ready. And I think they can come out here and cover the first half, keep it close. I typically would say, oh, yeah, you get the back door. But I also think the Niners, like this is what happened in the playoff game with them, right? Where it came out and it was kind of cutesy, kind of close. And then the Niners just pull away. I think the Niners have the tendency to do that because they're just so talented and so deep. And they just keep keeping the pressure on you until you completely break and fold. So I'd rather go Seahawks first half, where they're going to come out motivated. This really is their season. If they lose this, they're 6-7, already on the outside, get another loss. Philly next week, like it can get really ugly. So I think they come out fired up to do what they can on this one and cover the first half. I also think looking at first half, like 6.5, I think that's pretty free money if you're looking at San Francisco. Like,
Just
they can win by a touchdown. Like I think being under a touchdown is kind of cute. So I'll take the Seahawks there.
Yeah, I think also maybe the Seahawks might fade a little bit as the game progresses. So that's fair. Steak, are you cool with that, or are you uneasy about it?
I'm cool with it and uneasy about it. I like what he said about 6.5 being a little baitish, because I do think it's a little baitish. I think everyone who would bet the Niners first half would feel really cool and cozy with that 6.5 number. I don't know, man. I like this. I like the first half angle more than the full game angle, but the Niners are tough to fade right now.
It's tough to fade the Niners. It's tough.
Yeah, and I don't know how much bigger you can make this spread in a divisional game with the fact that Seattle just played decent against Dallas, and the offense looked like maybe they were figuring a few things out. DK 3 touchdowns. But with that being said, I wouldn't bet the Niners either. So I'm cool supporting the DGen fan, but I don't know if I have a personal play in this game.
Fair enough.
Well, it did open 12, so it's actually moved 2 points in the Seahawks' favor, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I love that for you.
Yeah. I love that for you, man. All right, next game. Man, I'm going to tell you what, it's going to be really hard for me not to put a unit on the Minnesota Vikings. And I've got some interesting reads. What, Greg? What?
You find your spots where you say, I'm not going to touch this because I'm invested. You're heavily invested on both sides, and yet you're going to go to the Vikings here.
You're right.
Then I'm going to listen to you bitch and piss and moan for 3 hours.
This is the DGen Bowl.
Well, I got these stupid fucking assholes in the chat every day fucking mocking me because I don't bet on things because I'm invested. The one time I think about it, now you're being the voice of reason and talking off.
Well, you're invested on both sides of it.
I know. It makes all the sense in the world not to get involved in this game.
Right.
But I got to hear fucking Snidesy up my ass. Yeah, you can ask me a question.
Are you nervous about the public narrative with Jay Jettas being back?
No. You want to know why? This is what I like. So let me set the stage real quick. The Vikings are -3, total 40.5, which I think is a little interesting. You know what I like? I like that Josh Dobbs had a really, really bad game. And I'm pretty sure Kevin O'Connell hinted at starting Nick Mullins.
More than hinted.
Can anybody confirm or deny that?
I know there's been talks about benching Dobbs for sure all week.
Don't you like that?
Yeah, a little bit. I like that a little bit.
You know why?
It changed.
Yeah. So I like, from a football perspective, I think Josh Dobbs is actually a competent, I'm not going to say he's good, right? He could be a flash in the pan. But you know what? That primetime game, that was a lot of expectations and a lot of pressure for Josh Dobbs, who's been playing so well, got traded for, didn't really skip a beat, won all these games, not knowing the plays. It was so cool. It was all over Twitter. And then you go in, you're playing a divisional team at home, prime time. I kind of just think that was maybe not the Josh Dobbs perfect situation to thrive in. And he shit his pants, and that's okay. Some people can shit their pants, but is he going to be a consistent pants shitter? I don't think that's Josh Dobbs. I think Josh Dobbs, now you kind of, what's that saying? Hold your feet to the fire or whatever. You know, it's like, oh shit, I'm not guaranteed to keep starting in the NFL. I like that. So now he's going to tighten up. I think he's going to correct some things. I'm okay with Justin Jefferson coming back in, whether he plays, whether he doesn't. I don't care. I don't necessarily think he's going to go for 8 catches, 170 yards because he doesn't have a guy like Kirk Cousins throwing the ball. And Greg, what I was telling you, what we were paying attention to, I think Mid-Major Matt had mentioned it when we faded the Raiders a couple times. The way they play defense is they keep everything in front of them. It's really hard to beat them deep. I think the Vikings offense is set up perfectly for this. KJ Osborne and fucking TJ Hawkinson and some Alexander Madison dump offs. I think they're going to move the ball slowly but surely. And I think they're going to put together some pretty good drives. I think it's going to be low scoring, to tell you the truth. Because I like the defense as well. Defense is playing better, and I'm not going to get all into the Raiders and Aiden O'Connell. I like the Vikings, and I'm sorry I spent so much time on it, but it was close to being a best bet for me, but I couldn't do it because I am heavily invested. Steak, what do you think about that?
So, yeah, I'm not playing this game. I actually don't have an angle at all. I'm a Vikings fan, so maybe that's why I can't really seem to figure it out. They've officially reached the point where I think most of these games are must-wins to make the playoffs with how well the Packers are playing. The Packers now have better odds to make the playoffs than the Vikings, which I guess makes sense. I don't really have an angle. I get what you're saying about Josh Dobbs, and I also think that people are excited about Justin Jefferson being back. The Raiders are almost impossible for me to figure out. I know they're pretty hard for you to figure out as well.
Very.
I just feel like week after week, you just cannot figure out what Raider team you're going to get, and I don't have a play in this game.
Okay, fair enough, Greg.
The one thing I heard that really gives me pause about betting the Vikings is, I'm going to go football X's and O's, and I'm probably wrong, so correct me, chat, but Dobbs likes to roll out to his right side, and that's where Max Crosby is. And I just see that being a really, really tough spot for him to get those sort of Josh Dobbs plays that he's gotten in the past. A no touch for me.
Okay, fair enough. Anybody, Steak, being a Vikings fan, if you had to see anybody from the Vikings doing well in this game, does anybody pop out?
I think it sounds completely obvious. No, maybe it doesn't sound obvious. I just see Justin Jefferson first game being back more of a decoy for Jordan Addison to be open more.
Addison? Yeah.
So I would go with Jordan Addison.
I'm getting Addison's stats up now.
Okay, fair enough. All right, let's talk about the Chargers-Broncos. Chargers are, if this is accurate, 3 down to 2.5, total 43.5 against the Broncos. Are the Broncos a trendy dog? I don't know. Let's see what the splits say. Denver, 64% of the bet, 62% of the money. I hope they are, because I love fading trendy dogs, and you know I love fading Russell Wilson when the opportunity presents itself. The Broncos are on back-to-back road games, I believe, after playing a nice stretch of 4 out of 5 games in Denver. Jesus Christ. Another team, kind of like the Broncos, kind of like the Jags, where I expect to kind of tail off a little bit, but the Broncos came out slow, got hot. Now I think they hit a little bit of regression. They had every opportunity to get back in and win that game against the Texans. Thankful they didn't. Obviously, it was one of our plays. We're on the Chargers, and I feel like it's not really an ideal spot where most people are going to feel good about it because the Chargers, having just scored 6 points against the Patriots and playing on the East Coast and traveling. But I don't love the Broncos on the road in back-to-back games. And for what it's worth, I just got a feeling that the Chargers take care of business in this one. We'll switch up the blunt rotation. Greg?
Yeah, no, as I say, future map play ahead for the Broncos. Not this week, next week. They'll have their 3rd road game in a row. Ooh. Shout out Boston Sports Guy who pointed that one out to me earlier in the season. So this is a really tough road stretch for the Broncos. Faded on the front end against the Texans last week. That was my best bet. I think that they really struggle in this spot here. During that win streak where they won, 5 in a row? 4 of them were at home, and Denver is a very tough place to play. The only one they had on the road was a bit fluky with that Bills game, and it was in prime time, so you're still pretty fired up. I just think they start to regress closer towards that 1-5 team that we saw start the year, as opposed to the 5-0 team at the midpoint. So I also can't imagine anyone wanting to bet the Chargers here. I think a little bit of good news, and it's not like that much good news, but if you're the Chargers, take what you can get. But I think Josh Palmer will be back this week. And I also think Surtain from the Broncos, who's a pretty good shutdown corner, is supposed to be out. I think he had a concussion last week, which means Keenan Allen could actually thrive a little bit, which he didn't do anything last week because the Patriots shut him down. So
Is Keenan Allen playing?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. He played last week, right? Or he did not?
I think he did.
Okay.
he played last week, but he was pretty well. Like they shut him down pretty well.
Josh Palmer is Canadian. Wow, look at that. I did not know that.
Wouldn't have
Steak,
guessed
are you cool with the Chargers? Are you excited about doing it, or are you begrudgingly doing it?
Who the fuck is excited about betting the Chargers? I was literally about to say I'm betting the Chargers and I'm ready to get hurt again. If you're excited about betting the Chargers, check yourself into a mental institution.
Yeah.
There's fucking nothing exciting about betting the Chargers at all. I actually hate them so much. So I'm already literally giving myself a red X in my head as I take this stupid team.
Well, there's black X's out there if you want to use that. It makes you feel better. It's softer on the eyes. Okay, I am actually just going to look on Action Network. I want to see if anybody's got the Chargers punched in. Oh, yeah, somebody does. We've got it's you, Greg. Greg, when did you become a fucking professional? Are you putting in bets midweek?
Well, when you're up at 1 a.m., you got to do something.
Well, can you tell me so I can get the line before it moves?
It moved away from us.
Yeah, it moved from -3 to -2.5.
You got it at -3. This is why I can't. Thank you very much. Thank you for moving the line the other way. It was very funny. I posted that parlay, which didn't hit for both defenses to score a touchdown in that game. It was 85-1. And I had people commenting that they were like tailing it and taking it with me, and their odds were 115-1. I'm like, how the fuck did that happen? I just can't get CLV. It's crazy. I got a black cloud over my head. All right. 2 more games? Yeah, 2 more games. Let's talk where am I? Let's talk Bills Chiefs, and then we'll end it with the Eagles Cowboys.
These are fun games. These are 2 fun games to close down.
Fun games. All right, chat. Let me hear what you think about this. I'm just going to keep this one short and sweet. I think it's the Bills. I don't know if I'm getting duped here. I think it's kind of uncomfortable to fade the Chiefs off of a loss coming back home. I don't really think anybody is a believer in the Bills. Now you got all this weird shit about McDermott. I don't really care about it. It's not like I'm betting on them because of that by any means, but it's just even more of a reason for like, if you were iffy on the Bills, now you know McDermott's a weirdo. 47.5 up to 48.5. I don't know, man. I mean, I it's not that I like him doubting the Chiefs by any means, but I still think after Buffalo fired Dorsey, not saying he was the issue, but you know what? They came out, they beat the Jets 32-6. They could have beaten the Eagles. They fucked that game up at the end, lost in overtime. I still just think they're a bit of a problem. The power rankings on this team, all the pros in Vegas have a lot of respect for them. There's something there. I'm not trying to fucking overanalyze it. I just think there might be something with Buffalo knowing their season's on the line and already having success before in Kansas City. I think we see a good day from the offense and the Bills, and I think there might be some sort of issues with this Chiefs offense that they don't figure out this week necessarily. Steak?
I'm gonna go against you here. I just had this. Yeah, I'm sorry. I had this epiphany last night. I really think the party's completely over for the Bills.
Fuck. Okay.
I think it's completely over. I think in order for it not to have been over, they needed to win that game against Philadelphia, and I really think the party's over. And even in the chat today, someone said, instead of betting the Bills money line every week, should I just take them to bet the playoffs? Because you keep every week they lose a game and the odds go up, and you keep not wanting to believe that it's possible that the Bills could miss the playoffs. And I just think there's lots wrong with the Bills. I'm not buying it. I think the party's over. I got to take Chiefs off a loss, even if that's public. I think I'm comfortable with my unit there.
Greg?
Sorry.
I still like to disagree. It's good. It keeps us all honest. Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, I do disagree, actually. I like the Bills here. They tend to play the Chiefs really well in the regular season. Obviously, we see what happens in the postseason, but they tend to play them really well in the regular season. They're also off a bye, and Buffalo is a very good team off a bye. Mm-hmm. I think this is a similar situation where they know how everything's stacked against them. This is absolutely a must win. They are getting healthier. To see the line move against Kansas City, is pretty shocking. Granted, they're coming off a loss in prime time, but to see them, I think they opened at 3. It's down to 1.5 now. It looked like you had on covers, which again is a little bit shocking. I may not come around and actually bet the Bills, but if anything, I would take the Bills here, which sucks because I have a future on Kansas City, and it's in danger now after being like a shoe-in.
This is very nice, by the way. I like seeing who's on whose side. Someone says, I agree with Steak. And then the other person said, I agree with Greg. So this is one that could very well be down the middle. Obviously, we see by the point spread. Why is DGen eating his cheek? So am I doing that? I mess with my mustache hairs. I like put them in my mouth. Sorry, I got to stop doing that when I'm on camera. Give me the Chiefs. They won't lose again. See, that to me, and I'm not even trying to fade the public, but that to me is definitely something your average bettor's
You're
gonna
right.
say. Yeah,
Right.
no, I know.
Actually, is Taylor Swift in attendance? That is a big deal.
You acknowledge it, but I will say, Steak, the way you put it about the party being over for the Bills and how people are thinking they're still going to make a run in the playoffs, you might be right. I mean, they looked deflated after that fucking Eagles loss. I saw the look on Allen's face, and there really is something there with like they're. I don't know if they all like each other anymore. There's some drama.
I don't know if they do either, man. It's a weird
It's tough.
vibe.
It's tough to like each other when you're supposed to win a Super Bowl and you're 6-6.
Yep, you're right.
And like
Still.
things, it's not like they're getting blown out. Things just aren't going their way. Like every loss that they've had was like a play or two away from them actually pulling it out, which is just it really starts to deflate you over the season.
Yep. Okay, last game and we'll shut it down. Eagles and Cowboys. Cowboys 3.5 at home, 52 down to 51.5. Kind of interesting. High total. We've seen a lot of unders this season. You don't see many totals in the 50s anymore. Kind of makes sense though. First time these teams met, I believe it was 28-23. Cowboys had every chance to get back in that game. Eagles almost blew it after being up like 28-13, taking their foot off the gas. We're Eagles respecters. You know, we still, I think we're Greg, do you have anything on the Eagles to win the Super Bowl?
I'm Niners. I'm on the opposite side to you guys.
But you still respect the Eagles, or you just don't like Sirianni, right? You think he's
I think Sirianni is I wouldn't call him a fraud. I think he's overrated. But ton of respect for Hurts, ton of respect for the Eagles on both sides of the ball.
Yeah. So at the same time, I think we can admit like they're not the perfect team by any means. And I've seen power rated, like not even in the top 5, which I think is a little crazy, but I guess at the same time, it can make sense. They're 10-2 on the road. They're 5-1, 4-1-1 ATS. The Cowboys are juggernauts. 6-0 at home, 5-1 ATS. We faded them with the Seahawks. That felt good. That was a 2-unit play for me. Oh, we got to talk about that trend real quick before we close down too. The trend that I found that does fit a few teams this weekend. 3.5 is a lot. I think maybe I'm wrong. The hook always feels like it's welcoming you in with open arms. But I don't know. With the way the Eagles lost that Niners game, I don't think anybody's really going near the Eagles. I think there really might be something wrong, and I'm not giving them any excuses, but there might be something wrong with Hurts. He looks slow. He doesn't really look in. Even when he's got tons of time to throw the ball, he just somehow manages to like run into a sack. Something's not all there with them. Losing the coordinators is a big deal. We've said it. I can't get involved in this game, but if anything, I kind of think it's the Cowboys. But I also find myself being on the side of, I feel like everybody's going to think it's the Cowboys. Is anybody going to take the Eagles right now? I feel like the Cowboys have a lot of respect. Dak is now up there with co-MVP. So I'm going to stay off this game. I don't have a play at all, but I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Steak?
So last week, I'll call myself out. I thought that the Niners looked way too easy with the fact that I felt like squares and sharps were all on them. Everyone loved the Niners, and I had messaged you guys, and I'm like, God, why do I really like the Eagles? I feel like everyone likes the Niners. And I got too cute. Like, let's be honest, I got too cute. That was just the world's most obvious position to take the Niners for an ass whooping, and they did that. I don't really believe that both of those – I don't think that's going to happen twice, if that makes sense.
It does make sense.
And Dak Prescott is rolling. Don't get me wrong. He looks amazing. It's December 8th. This is like right around the time where I stopped believing in Dak Prescott. That's just the honest truth. December 8th, next week, whenever you want to call it, I think you're going to get a different guy in December and January. And I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to take the Eagles.
Wow.
I am. I'm going to get even or get worse with that shitty bet I made last week. Because I really am an Eagles believer, and I'm really not a Dak Prescott and Dallas Cowboy believer until I see it in December and January. And this is a huge fucking game because Dallas wins and they're still in it for the division. But if Philly wins this game, the division's over, and pretty much, I mean, for the most part, I would say essentially lock up the 1 seed. So this is a really, really big game. And I don't know that I believe anyone's lining up to bet the Eagles after how bad they got their ass kicked and Hurts was banged up at the end of that game. I think people are dying to bet the Cowboys here, seeing kind of like a repeat of last week, another team that everyone feels could be dominant in the NFC. I am okay fading Dak Prescott in a huge game with a team that I think is really, really good and really well-rounded.
Yeah, I think I agree. The only thing I can come to the conclusion of is I don't really think you're going to find many people betting on the Eagles. And plus, it's a revenge game for the Cowboys. The biggest thing that prevents me from betting the Cowboys is it's hard to see the Eagles get their ass kicked twice. And I think if they lose, it could be like the Bills when the Bills played the Eagles. The Bills were 3.5, and they covered. Mm-hmm. I could legitimately see them this game coming down to a field goal. I wish, as an Eagles Super Bowl ticket holder, I never like when a team is just never faces any adversity. No. So I really do. I said I'm like that's why I bet the Niners. I think the Niners are going to kill them, and I think that I want the Eagles to get in a little bit of a rut now. And then to win the Super Bowl, you hit a few bumps, and then in the playoffs, you turn it up. That's kind of what I want. The problem is you don't want to hit too many bumps because then you jeopardize losing the 1 seed and losing the division. So I still think they have enough of separation in their wins and losses and a very weak schedule to end the year playing the Giants that they could twice, that they could afford one more loss. I wish they would have just taken that last week as a bye week and had fucking Hurts take the week off. They didn't do that, unfortunately. Greg, where you? I know you can't do that. I understand.
Yeah,
Greg,
you can't do it. Yeah, what are you talking about?
I know you can't do it. But where are you at with this game, Greg?
I think the Eagles hit a little bit of a rut here, and I think they lose again. But at 3.5 is pretty telling. Like if this was 3, I'd probably be telling a different song. Other weird thing too is McCarthy had an appendectomy. He had surgery this week, which is kind of weird for like game prep and stuff. Just a random thing that I had heard. But I mean, as a fat guy, I'm sure like that's just fat guy policy that happens every once in a while. But yeah, I think the Cowboys, I definitely look to the Cowboys. I'm not putting anything in on them now. Come Sunday night, I might be singing a different song. I did kind of play the 49ers game perfectly where I didn't want to lay that juice on them money line, and I didn't want to take a -3. So I jumped in when it went to 6-0, got it even money, easy way out. I might try and play that same song and dance with the Cowboys. If the Cowboys get up early and roll, whatever. I just never got a shot with that. But if the Eagles get up early, I'll jump in and fade it.
What is everybody laughing at that you said? Greg is off the walls with that statement.
Fat guy policy.
Oh, the fat guy policy?
It's like he couldn't breathe. Like I don't know what appendectomy is, but it seemed like it was like typical like fat guy stuff. Like he probably just shit gets stuck in his throat.
I think your appendix can get ruptured to anybody.
Is that what an appendectomy is?
I have no idea.
This sounds exactly like how I'd expect a guy who runs marathons to talk.
Greg is fucking hilarious, dog. Bro, I honestly have no idea.
Oh, it is the removal of an appendix, huh? Yeah, I was wrong. It can happen to anybody. Happened to my dad. Happens to the best of us.
It really happened to your dad?
Last stream.
Yo, now I think you can get canceled from fat shaming, by the way.
Not anymore, dude. Stuff's coming back around.
You sure? Okay, I was gonna say because I think I have 30% BMI, so I think we're okay. Yes, if your appendix, and I don't think he makes it to the sideline. That actually might be a good. Well, he's been coaching very well this year, so if he doesn't get to the sideline, I don't know. That'd be interesting. The one thing I can't scroll up that far now. The one thing, and we'll end it up with this. Somebody did say he thinks the public narrative is that the Cowboys never win big games. That is a decent point. That is a decent point. But at the end of the day, I'm with you, Steak, and it really isn't because I'm a Cowboys hater or a Dak hater. I've bet on them and bet on him multiple times in the past few years. I agree. I'm going to sit this one out. I'm not going to bet the Eagles, but I would like him to prove it to me. The stream is undefeated, bro. Awesome. I'm glad that you guys enjoy it.
One closing note, too, is
whoever Greg, I'm fat. Okay, go ahead.
I didn't say anything bad. I just felt like it was like routine. The Cowboys play in Buffalo next week. So if they win this game, I think that is a massive letdown opportunity. So I'm not ready to let go of my Bills Super Bowl ticket, even though it's probably dead. But if the Bills win this and then they get the Cowboys off a big win, maybe they get a little momentum.
Steak, you have a Bill Super Bowl ticket. Would you cash out of it if you could?
No, I'll just burn it.
Yeah, dude, we get like fucking 15%. Like it's not.
I'm not cashing out of that shit. I'm burning it.
Would you cash out of the Browns if you had them to win the AFC?
Nope. Go Flacco, dude.
All right. Good stuff. With 12:33, perfect timing. Thank you very much for tuning in. We had a pretty good crowd in here today. I saw we got up to like 160, 170. Flacco season. Yep. Greg, never change. All right. I might be due for some.
I might be due for some fat guy maintenance.
That was funny to think. That's exactly what a guy who runs marathons would say. All right. Good stuff. Jake, Greg, thank you for hopping on and making the time. We'll chat with you guys later. Have a great day. Chat. I will. I'm going to send you guys over to Behind the Line. Are you guys trying to leave or should I just remove you, by the way?
Just remove me. I'm out.
It was weird. I was like, you ever say bye to someone and then like they walk the same way as you? It's like, well, this is weird. I'm just going to stop so you can get some separation. All right. Bye, guys. Bye. All right. Hi, K-Sav. You're a little late. What's up? Okay. Where are we? I'm going to send you. Who's live right now? Who's live right now? 118 CBB, not a word discussed. Oh, wow. I need to lose some weight or my appendix is going to explode. That is fucking hilarious. We're such idiots. I hope that that just is understood and accepted, and I think it is. I've been here. Oh, okay. Alternatively, if they beat KC, Buffalo is in a big letdown spot next week. Fair enough. Nothing worse. So you know what? Pro tip: after like I have a meeting with a client or something, we walk out of the building. I'm like, instead of saying, "All right, well, it was great to see you," blah 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 blah. You go, all right, which way you headed? Fucking pro tip for you. You're welcome. I'm always here for the pro tips. You go, oh, which way you headed? They go, oh, I got to go that way. You're like, oh, okay, good. I'm going to go this way. Even though you weren't going that way, you go that way now. You know what I'm saying? All right, have a good weekend, guys. We have a lot of college basketball. Maybe I'll try to get some plays on the website or something. I'll tweet them out. College basketball has been very good. I'm going to send you over to Behind the Lines. Thanks for hanging out and tuning in. Appreciate all the follows and the sub banks. It's been a fun week. DJ, we are all degenerate assholes here. Impossible to get canceled in the community. That's true. You never know who's out there, though. A lot of haters out there lurking, just ready to fucking chomp on your ass. All right. Raid Book It Sports. I got to give those guys some sub banks too. It was nice of Javon to come in. All right. Come on yesterday. Love the stream. Take care. Thank you, Luke Jordan. Thank you, guys. Good luck on your bets. Have a great weekend. NFL's been tough. Don't nuke anything. Be smart. Don't wake up Monday stressed out, not being able to pay your gambling debts. Remember, we don't want this to ruin any lives. We just want to have fun. All right. Take care, guys. Raid. And bam.